Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you my senior project I made with my team at school. So a little backstory, my senior project group at school needed a company to make an application for, not only for the experience of the developers, but so that we could hopefully meet some kind of business need, and we'd be doing it for free without incurring any kind of cost or anything like that. Luckily, the company that I worked for and am still working for as a software engineer intern was able to come up with a project for us after weighing out a couple options. We decided that the project would be creating a full stack web application written in the same tech stack that VSP uses internally in order for the company to better track big projects called charters. So the point of the application is to help upper management to systems or business analysts all the way down to developers increase their visibility into these like massive projects that they pour money into. Before, VSP was basically manually tracking progress on like Excel spreadsheets and Word documents, but now they have like a centralized application that updates dynamically based on the developer story completion in Jira. So this is a visual to kind of help explain what's going on here. Each node from left to right is kind of like a one-to-many relationship, as you can see. So on the far left, there are charters over here that map to features, which map to business requirements. And then these business requirements here map to Jira stories that developers work on. And so when the developer works on it and they complete it, that will update, and our application will automatically update and it'll show the completion here. So that's kind of the gist of what's going on. I'll go ahead and jump into what the application actually looks like and how to use it. So this is the charters landing page. I have a couple examples of what some charters could look like here. Basically just big projects. And I have a couple components I can show in here, like the search. It's a search as you type. So you can see as I'm typing it'll pop up and it's pretty fast. There's also a sort. It defaults to priority ascending, but you could also do descending, completion ascending, completion descending, or if you just wanted to show the ones that were incomplete, you could do that as well. And then in the top right here we have a charter creation button. So this will pop up a little form here that you'll fill out. You'll put in all the charter information, and you can see we have some validation on these fields as well. And when you hit submit, that will create the cards that you see on the other page. And it's also worth noting we have a document URL here. So if I go back here and we look at one of these charter cards in the drop down, we have like a view documents button. So unfortunately we didn't have access to VSP applications, software, and websites for this. So when actually put to use, this would most likely be a link to a web page that has all of the charter related documents on it. So if I click on that, it'll just kind of have the list right here. And also in the drop down we have an edit card. So that will pull up basically the same as the creation form, except it auto-populates all of the information from the charter. So you can update that here and hit submit, and then that will update once you come back out here. And then the last option here is view tree, which I already showed you, but I'll get back into it again and explain it in more detail. I'll do that a little bit later though. So you can see on the card we have in the bottom right a percentage of completion, and then we also have a progress bar here. So if I were to click into a charter, that will pull up the features page for that charter. So you can see we have all the features listed for this charter and their percentage of completion. So that charter was at 50% just because one of the two features is complete. And so basically the charter's features and business requirements pages, they all have a very similar look and feel to them, which is why we've added a breadcrumb trail here at the top so you don't get lost when you're diving into the layered pages of the application. But the features page is pretty straightforward because it operates the same way that the charters page does, with the search and the sorting and the creation, and then it also has like the edit and view documents. The only thing it's missing is the view tree option, just because that's a charters only thing that we wanted to have. So I'll go ahead and click into one of the features, which will bring up the business requirements for that feature. You can see we have a little more information here, like feature information, documents, and stuff like that is actually on this page. So we have the same basic components though that the features page has. And each of these business requirements listed here should have one or more Jira stories attached to them. So if I were to go into like edit, you can see we have like the basic information here, and then we have a list of Jira IDs. So we could add or delete as many of these as you want. And you might be wondering where exactly like the SM148 and 144 are coming from. We actually have our application. If I go over to this tab, we have our application pointing at a board on the community edition of Jira. This board is actually the same one that we used to develop this project, funny enough. So I just took some examples of in progress and done stories for some filler data. So you can see if I go back here, SM148 is here in progress and 144 is here and done. So that is 50%. And I'll go ahead and click into one of these to pull up the Jira page for this business requirement. And it's worth noting that it takes a second to pop up here because our application is calling Jira's API and it's populating the name, description, and the completion status of the story. So it has it all color coordinated and everything. And I think we can see fairly easily how these Jira stories, how the completion of the Jira stories affects the business requirements, and how the completion of the business requirements affects the features, and how the features affect the charters. So yeah, you can see that they're all kind of connected, but we do have the view tree option to visualize it a little bit better. This is probably my favorite thing that we were able to do with the project. So we're able to see kind of what's happening here from a graphical perspective. It's color coordinated with what's complete and what's not. So this is kind of a good example. If I were to hover over the charter, it'll show the completion is at 50%. But we can tell fairly easily why it's only 50% complete. So if I were to follow the trail of incompletes here, from charter to feature to business requirement, I can click on this and expand. And we can see actually there's only one story that's holding back this business requirement, that's holding back this feature, that's holding back this charter. And so we can see like, yeah, this charter is only 50% complete, but there's only one Jira story that's holding it back from being 100% complete. So that can save quite a bit of time, and this level of insight is something that you don't get when you're just tracking stuff manually on Excel spreadsheets and stuff like that. So this is just a more dynamic way and a better way to view everything that's happening with your company projects. And one other thing to show from this page here is that you can notice when I hover over these nodes, everything except for the Jira stories, when you hover over them, it'll take you to the page of that, whatever it is, business requirement, feature, or charter. So if I were to click on the one for a business requirement, it'll show me the Jira page for it. So if I go to view and click on that, it'll take me to that business requirement we can see from the breadcrumb trail, and it'll show us all the Jira stories for it, which is pretty convenient, I'd say. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my demo of the application. Thank you.